So if you remember what it looked like before, that's not bad, I don't think, considering what it was. Obviously it's a bit wavy down there. I might try and find something hard out in the yard and beat it on there. Yeah, obviously I've welded the crack up both sides. I doubt it'll upset the balance much welding it, but yeah, I put a straight edge down there and it's straight, so yeah, I'm very pleased with that. A little bit of press work and careful beating. Yeah, obviously that can be bent quite easily in the right place, but it's just how mangled it was before. That's ideal. Just another, how many? 7 to do. Another 7 of these. But they're 85 quid each, so I think it'll be worth it in the end. And then the flywheel. I think the flywheel will be the easiest part. Yeah, very pleased with that. So after a lot of pressing, that's all 8 of them done. There's 7 there and 1 over there. Now we're just moving on to this. So what I'm going to do with this, as you see there, it's bent. Is have one hammer like that, you know, a bigger hammer on the side you're hitting, and then hit there with a slightly smaller hammer. They can be big hammers, but just one's bigger than the other, because then you're technically hitting against that, so it bends it easier. Whereas if you just go belting against that, it's more likely to try and bend the whole lot. Well, that's what I found anyway, but I'll set you up and you can see for yourself. Yeah. Just like that. Obviously, bigger hammer, hit against the bigger one, but obviously don't hit the hammer against the hammer, because for some reason people reckon they explode. But there is logic there. Anyway, I'll do that for the rest of those. But obviously the bolt holes as well, they're almost indented. So what I'm doing for that, right, so flip that over that side, put that one underneath, but just off to the side of the hole. Yeah, and that's now flat and no longer, because obviously it pulled out that way when it hit the paddle. So I'll do that all the way around, and then that'll be the well, actually that won't be the flow all done. What I'll do is on these corners is just run up through the grinder, because a few of them have split. So I'll run up through the grinder, re-weld them, yeah, and then they should hopefully be alright. While past me is giving it the big uns with a sledgehammer, this is present me saying, if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Leave a comment down below on your views and opinions on what I'm doing. I'm always pleased to read your comments and constructive criticism. Let me know where in the country you're from, and yeah, tell me a bit about yourself. But anyway, back to past me with more flywheel action. God, keeps you fit yinging that bloody hammer around, that does. Well, I've done that now. And I worked out if you put the hammer underneath it, it actually reforms the hole quite well, because a few of them were quite a lot bigger than it was, but it just sort of flattens it back down a bit. What I'm going to do is see if I can get a straight edge and just put it across there and see if it is out a bit there. I can't imagine it will be. But the next thing, like I said, will be cut where a few of them have split up there. That one's split. Just split a bit down there, cut it right the way up, grind out, re-weld it. I'll just sort that. Yeah, and that should be the flywheel done. I have got all the parts for that one arrived, apart from this bearing here. So I can put the bearing on the other side. I do have that one ordered, but it's the same as the floor ones for that shaft there. So what I'm going to do is put the floor in first with all the slats and everything, and then once that arrives, put a bearing on there, drop that one in, drop that one in, then put the flywheel in, or whichever way around to do it, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, put those in, refit all the paddles, then finish welding the top of that, and put all that on, and then see if the electrics work, which I hope they will, because I had them sent away to Gary Knight, I think it is. He does all the electrics and bits and pieces. I sent them away to him and got them working. He said he wasn't going to guarantee them because I think one of the boxes was cracked, but if it works, it works. I'm going to aim to keep it in the shed dry, so yeah. Well, anyway, that's that done. Right, so now we're finally on to putting stuff back together. Start with the bearing on the drive side of the rotor pack. Got myself a load of new parts yesterday. Still waiting on one bearing, but something nothing really in it. Right, first thing I'm going to do is put a load of copper slip on here. Because always think you might be the next bloke to, or woman, let's not be discriminative here, you might be the next person to change the bearing on it, so new bearing. What I found quite interesting is they used to be blue, now they're black, and it comes with its own Allen key now. Right, I'll put a bit in there. Put a bit in that one. Look at that! Right, now we've got to try and get the bolts in, whilst also remembering to put copper grease on them. And the other thing I've just noticed is the grease bottle is there. I want that in a different place so we can get to it a bit easier. Too eager. Too eager. I need that around there or at the back. Yeah, I'll take that off. Spin it around. Right, so the grease nipple's down there now. I get a bit nervous doing that because obviously these are cast and you think, if it bends them a bit too much, it will completely wreck it. Just remember to put this one on. And then a bit of copper slip on the inside of this one. I've also cleaned the woodruff key off as well. Whether that's going to pull that through a bit more, I don't know. Obviously that's a little bushing sort of thing for the sprocket that goes on as well. But I'll put that on once I've got the woodruff key there. Copper slip the living life out of that one too. Oh, I've dropped it in the dirt, of course I have. Never mind. Where's my camera gone? I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls the rotor this way quite a bit. Now I did this yesterday. Mocked it up, put that on there, and then put this one in. It's a bit tricky to get in. Now there is obviously the shear bolt hole, but one thing I didn't think about was that's what size would that be? That would be an M12 or an M14 hole. Now that's clearly not right. I think what they've done is they replaced the shear pin at some point with obviously the wrong it's a 19. Where's the 19? 19 was under you lot. I've obviously replaced it with the wrong size bolt and not put the little collar back in. Now I'm not going to do the grub screws up just yet because I think that shaft still has to come this way, because it's obviously all lead on the floor, it's not under tension or anything like that. So I think I can still do up a bit tighter, but once it's all on the machine everything will be floating a bit more. That's that bearing on there. And then this one here is still not arrived, but obviously that's the same sort of thing, but with a smaller bearing. So I'll get this one out, have a tidy up, and then back the straw chopper in, start putting the floor in. So as you just saw, I've completely dismantled the floor chains. There are a couple newer ones in there. Like that looks like a newer one, that one, and then one over there. Then this is a brand new one. And then you compare it to one like that. It looks alright, but you can see it's worn in here. And some of them have actually stretched quite a bit. Yeah, that one's stretched a bit. I was debating whether I can just get away with a couple new ones, but I think, what are these? £8 each, I think. There's 16 of them, but obviously this is the main cause as to why the paddles get bent, because these break, and then obviously you've got one end of the slat just goes straight into the flywheel. So I think just to be safe I might just get all new ones of these, you know, just for peace of mind, because the last thing I want is to have them straightened all that lot out, put this back in, think yeah I'll save a couple quid, put in the old joiners back in, and then bang, all my hard work's undone. So I think yeah, just get new ones of those, don't cut corners. So I've managed to straighten out the two bent ones, but I do have some spare ones from a different straw chopper project I did if I do need them, but these do seem to be thicker than them because they're a bit more rusted, so I think I'll just keep keep the original ones, they've straightened out alright. As long as they sit in there, obviously they come upwards. It loops through your bit of chain, and then that comes up through there, bolts, chain, job done. Which is quite nice, because it's easier to put it together on the machine, which I'll probably start doing in a minute, possibly, hopefully. Oh, yeah, another thing is obviously these, which were the tensioners at the back. What I did was ground down the welds and just tapped out the rest of the bolt, so then I can get a bit of threaded bar, cut it to the right length and re-weld it in there. Because those, for a glorified gate hanging, I don't know whether I said before, they're like 80 something quid each. It's ridiculous. I don't know if I can reuse that, I don't know if it's long enough. So I was just going to get new threaded rod, put it in. And then the other thing I thought about doing also was building up these teeth with a bit of weld. They're a little bit warm, but I don't know, I'll let you know if I do or not. But yeah, that's that so far. On to the next thing, which I don't quite know what is yet, but we're getting there slowly. Right, so we're finally ready to start putting stuff back together. So I'm going to start with the chain drive, or bed drive shaft, should we call it. Right. And of course it just stops really lashing it down when I turn the camera on. How much rain is there in the sky? A lot at the moment. Okay. Now a brand spanking new sprocket. I'm definitely not annoyed that we had to cut the old one off. Not at all. This catching slightly on the floor, but the floor's all bent and wibbly anyway. There. So obviously that chain goes round there, which will drive all of that. And then obviously the chain sprocket cleaners will go in there. I think I'll put those in now actually. Yeah, because then obviously because when the chain's in there I can't get underneath there. I'll go get those in a minute. That's hail. So you can't really see it in there, but that's all that is. It's just a. I had these made. I made them for a different project before. They're a bit of a finger trap to keep them. And then you want to get it almost as close to the sprocket as you can. Which in this case is right forwards. There it is. Copper slip. There. Obviously that shaft will come this way a bit more, but I need to just set the other side up, and then the chain adjuster will get adjusted when the floor chain is on. That's right back at the moment, and then there'll be another locking nut this side. So what I'm doing here now is just laying out the slats and the chains inside the straw chopper, obviously ready to go back together. I'm glad it is finally going back together now and we've got to this part, but yeah, in the next bit, once this time lapse is finished, I will explain how I managed to get the floor chain back underneath. What I need to do now is post as much of it as I can down underneath and then lie down there and pull it down round. That seems to be the only way I can think to, well, the easiest way to do it then. Because that was what I did on the first one I did. Just pull this as far around as you can. So then I just pull as much as I can while keeping the chain free, basically. There, so then I can try and drag them as far round as possible and underneath. So obviously under here, it's there, look. Then you just got to make sure that the chains keep moving along with the rest of it. Obviously I've got my phone light on and you can't see much under here, but and the axle's right in the way, of course. You can take these out, they're just sort of the chain slat runners, I call them. They run full length underneath over there, but yeah, I'll get as much of that as I can under here and then go again from the top. So that's most of that under there now. You just got to remember that you've got the rest of the chain to put on as well. Yeah, I'll get a load more slats and then watch me put them together. Right, now I've got all my bits. Right. We'll make sure the chain's not twisted as well, so that'll bring problems of its own. It's quite therapeutic doing this, really. Especially with nearly all new chain joints. It's satisfying, they've got peace of mind that it's not going to, well, touch wood, it's not going to obliterate it. So while past me is just putting the last couple links of the floor back together, I didn't actually get a chance to film putting the floor drive chain from the motor on, which you can see in the top right hand corner of the screen now. That's just a normal chain that goes from a motor at the front, which drives the bed motor, which pulls the two sprockets either side of me there round, and then obviously adjusting the gate hanging looking pieces at the back so that in the middle of the floor, like in the middle of all the slats that are in the floor, you can pull the chain up and there's 50mm between the floor and the chain. That's the correct adjustment for those. It's probably best to keep on top of that because obviously this stops them jumping links or coming off effectively, but that's basically what I did in the time. And then in just a second I will show you it running for the first time, and well, first time since I've had it, which is quite exciting. So I've got it all running now. I think I've tightened it up about right. Obviously there's a grub screw in the back of there as well, I've got to mention. It'll be a bit bangy and clanky until it's worn all the rust off of everywhere that it rubs against, like the chains and that. But I think that's flat out as well, actually. But it's flat out for the Massey anyway. I was just going to leave it running for a while, and then by I was saying earlier was where you measure the floor, it's sort of right in the middle. There's got to be 50 mil. Pull the floor up, pull the chain up, there's 50 mil underneath that, and then that's the right adjustment for it. I always get the two mixed up because this is 50, which the Western rear discharge is 70, I think. So I keep having to go back to the manual and seeing which bit's which. So that is the end of this episode of this many-part series. Very glad to get the floor in. In the next bit, we're getting the flywheel in and doing bits and pieces to that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Remember, comment, like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.